Good morning. My name is Brennen and I'll be your chairperson for today's service. Are there any visitors or new students and families here this morning? First, we'll have sutra chanting. Please join in the reading of Sambujo on page 24 in the Big Book, followed by Junirai on page 20 in the Little Book, or page 67 in the Big Book. Now we will have Gatha Hotoke-sama on page 55, followed by the golden chain located on page 2 in the little book and page 15 in the big book under golden chain 1. The golden chain. I am a link in Amida's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amida's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida
Namu
Butsu.
Amida Butsu. Namanda.
Now we will have a Dharma lesson by Mr. Jones.
Please join me in Gassho. My heart, glowing with Buddha's compassion, overflows with gratitude. My friends, thank you for spending the day with me. Grateful for the light that brightens my way, I offer words of thanks for each day's friendly contacts. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namanda. Good morning. Happy to see all of you here, and grateful for all of those of you who are joining us from online and those of you using the recording to view us later. The opening passage I read was from the second verse of the Gatha Arigato. And I want to focus on that very last line. I offer words of thanks for each day's friendly contacts. But I'd like to start off by asking you to do something for me. Please raise your hand if you're a member of the Sangha. Okay, thank you. Now, please raise your hand. It's perfectly fine if you do, if you don't know what I mean by Sangha. Nobody brave enough? Okay. So it's not an English word, and it's not a Japanese word. You've heard it before, even if you don't remember it. But I want you to know that being a member of the Sangha is one of the easiest things you can do. All you have to do is say, I'm a member of the Sangha, or even think, I am a member of the Sangha. But let's start with a definition. Can anybody tell me, what is the Sangha? Dharma School students, somebody. Yes? Everybody. That's a great answer. I love that answer. Everybody. Sangha is from the Pali and Sanskrit languages. There are several definitions given in the dictionaries. It's the third of the three jewels, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. You may remember hearing us recite the three treasures. I put my faith in Buddha, I put my faith in Dharma, I put my faith in Sangha. The jewels and treasures are the same thing here. Sangha is also defined as the monastic order founded by the Buddha. Now that's a group of monks and nuns who followed the Buddha and his teachings and went with him wherever he went. But it was very difficult to join the Sangha in the Buddha's day. Later, people who weren't even ordained were able to join, but it was different then, because these people who joined the Sangha originally with the Buddha had to give up everything, just as the Buddha had done. Give up their families, give up their possessions, give up everything so that they could join the simple life of being a Buddhist monk and join the Buddhist Sangha. But today, everybody is a member of the Sangha, and that's what we like. Everybody here, the minister's assistants, and everybody here, everybody listening at home. But like I said, back in the Buddhist time, you really had to be committed. You had to give up everything and dedicate all your time to listening to the Buddha and his teachings and participating in the various rituals. In the beginning, only men could join the Sangha. But the Buddha eventually allowed women to become Sangha members. Over time, even members who weren't ordained, who weren't willing or able to give up everything, were allowed to become members of the Sangha. And what that really meant were those members were able to come and sit and listen, hear the Dharma, recite with the Buddha, meditate with the Buddha, and so on. Now these changes all took place over 2,500 years ago. Even as more people were allowed to become members of the Sangha, there were still some who weren't allowed. In those ancient times, people believed that some groups of people were not equal to them, and these groups should not be allowed to be in the Sangha. I don't know about you, but that's not the Buddhism that I understand. Unfortunately, as much as we'd like to believe that all Buddhists are kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than themselves, there have been many Buddhists throughout history who have worked hard to exclude groups or individuals that they considered too different to join the Sangha. So what do we call it when someone tries to prevent a person or a group of people from joining into their groups because they don't like something about those people? Anybody? What do we call that? The word I'm looking for here is prejudice. That's a tough word sometimes, but let's break it down. Prejudice. Pre, meaning before. The judge, meaning to make a decision about something. And the ICE is from practice. So it's the practice of judging before you know. That is, we judge something or somebody before we know them. And we do this by thinking about where they came from, what religion they practice, the color of their skin, or many other things that we could latch onto. And just how are we supposed to be kind and gentle to every living thing if we start off by judging them? Prejudice takes many forms. And I really hate to admit this to all the younger folks, but you learn prejudice from us, the adults. There are a lot of good reasons for you, as young people, to be cautious around people you don't know. But the reason you need to be careful has nothing to do with the other person's skin color, their religion, the sport team they like, or any number of a list of things that you could categorize. It's because you're younger and have less experience dealing with people that the adults, and especially your parents, tell you not to talk to strangers or always be with someone you know. You've not yet learned to understand that someone may not be a good person. There's another word we use when we make decisions about what is good and bad for us. The word is discriminate. This is another big word, but it simply means that we separate things into things we don't like or do like, or things that are good for us and bad for us. If you're allergic to nuts, you discriminate between the foods that you eat, and you eliminate the ones that have nuts, because you know the nuts can hurt you. That's a good thing. But when you discriminate against people based on where they're from, or what color their skin is, whether or not they speak English well, whether they're part of the LGBTQ community, doesn't matter. You don't know anything about that person. You're making a decision based on the group to which they belong. This is not the way we want to behave here at the Betsuin. We're a Sangha here. As a Sangha, or group of people who come together to listen to the teachings of the Buddha, we welcome everyone, just as they are, to join us. They don't need to believe the way we believe. They don't need to look like us or talk like us. We are all here to learn. We don't ask the people to change, to become like us. We welcome them just as they are. For the younger people, the children, you have the adult Sangha members here to protect you. We will protect all who are weaker than ourselves, and that includes you. We want you to welcome new people and not to fear them. And we feel confident in this because we are all here together with you. We are a Sangha. Please join me in Gassho. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you to Mr. Jones. We will now have Sayonara on page 103, followed by the promise located on page 5 in the little book and page 15 in the big book.
Sayonara minasan go kigenyo. Sayonara sensei o daiji ni. Tanoshii kondo no tsudoi made.
The promise. We thank
Thank the
Buddha
Buddha
for showing us the way of freedom. We will endeavor to walk in his noble path every day of our lives. Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida Butsu.
Namu Amida
Namu
Butsu.
Amida Butsu.
Thank you. Thank you to Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Mr. Akizuki, Ms. Tanabe, and Mr. Jones, and to organist Miss Jones. Are there any announcements?
Hi, I'm Randy Cow, one of the Troop 611 ASMs. I just wanted to mention that the Boy Scouts, are having a e-waste drive on Saturday, April 15th from 9 to 3. So if you have any spring cleaning, now is a good time to do it. There are some exclusions, but if you look at the flyer on the bulletin board, you'll see what those are. So, thanks.
Before everyone leaves the temple, please straighten all the books for the next service. Those of you who are interested are welcome to attend the adult English service following this service, or to visit the open door cafe outside. For your safety, please obey the crossing guards and look both ways before crossing the street. Thank you for attending today's service.
Good morning, see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. See ya. Good morning. Thank you for this morning. Good job. See you next time. Good morning. Good job. Thank you. Good morning. See you next time. Good morning. Good morning. See you next time. Good morning. Good morning. People signed up, for birthday. There's no projects being planned right now. I don't think they have. Yeah. What, March? It's a month away. Yeah, so Patty's been bugging me. Patty Kaneda's been bugging me. Even like a small project or something.
Something, we have to do something. We need to keep it going.
Yeah, yeah.
I will. So who's sharing that? Thank you, Stan.
Yeah.
Someone was trying to get. What's that? Karen. I know who. I know who.
See, yeah, it's. Yeah, so, I think even something simple. Yeah, just to keep it going.
Yeah, I was looking through all my seeds yesterday, calling the ones that I kept thinking of the seed exchange, things like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You see. Okay. I will. Who am I going to call? Jeannie. Yeah, she's new.
Alvin was saying, I think Karen talked to, Patty talked to Alvin. Alvin said, oh, there's no committee anymore. Yeah,
Just
so,
so I mean, we haven't been abolished.
no, not at all. But it's a little kind of short, but I think we could do something.
Okay. I'll put a bug in someone here.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Could you?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I did in yours, you're here. I put in your, no, I put the bug in your ear.
That's I'm having allergies, that's this week.
Oh, you are?
But it's just, haven't had it for 7 years. These things still function. I get the cheap. There's a what? 5 days. We'll see. In fact, I found
How's your leg knee?
Getting better.
Getting better?
Still, yeah. Getting better.
Reverend? You're all, really?
Yeah, I mean, because I got new nails. I got new and improved things that I don't listen to when I was in the restaurant. I can't. Yeah. Very expensive. Okay, thank you. Who's preaching at 11? This gentleman is?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, no. The collector workers Shinran, we have copies here. Do we sell them? Do we give them away? What do we
They were a reduced price.
do? Do we know how?
We do have them, but they're cheaper now. The price is $12.
Okay. Okay.
These are in.
Oh,
Avocado's green, so give it about a week to ripen. Okay?
okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, sorry, but, yeah. Not yet. Okay, so if I have a choice, then maybe.
Good morning, everyone. It's nice to see you. Before we start, I just need to remind you that there are no food or drinks allowed in the hondo. Are there any new people attending this morning? And if so, would you like to stand up and introduce yourself? Very good. So I was ill this last week, and getting back to normal is really hard. So I didn't realize, I knew I was chairman for today, but I didn't realize, I said, when does the service start? And I said, then I heard the Kansho, and I said, oh my gosh, it's starting. So I got to rush in. So I didn't have time to talk to the ministers about the program. So you have to help me out. So let's see. We will begin this morning's service with opening meditation, followed by sutra chanting, and the ministers will have to tell us what the sutra chanting is.
So we begin with Sambujo, followed by Sambutsuge.
Okay. Sambujo on page
24.
24
Sambutsuge.
and Sambutsuge on page 77. Very good. Thank you.
Jo me 손녀문 인노 시십 진노 금은요 금은모나이 지혜 진묘 고묘 이속 신도 나이 생각나 사뭇 자이쇼호 칸도쇼 응애 나즈 세조 잉아이닌 쇼닌 서세 삼마이 지에 이족 모세 동음은 흥여신안 이사이쿠 그 이사나이안 계시음무주야구 센노무만 문료나이쇼 순영원자 구여 이사이신노쇼뭇 은영은노 겐쇼 흥약 인영원자 쇼무주생의 무흥안예 주센즈노 거묘 이소신리쇼 요세쇼진 이진만요 용나사무주모무노나이 오슈키묘노조조세 오훈요나이 온리무토소 나토 아이민노나즈 이사이 지뽀라이 쇼신넨 쇼조 이통가코 국회라구 안논 호문심묘생나신쇼 호증안노 히리기쇼쇼요 지포세 손지행응예 전여시손 징나신요 개려신십 쇼근너무주 라교쇼진 닌주
So again, I apologize for having a blank outline. So now I know that we're going to have Gatha, and I don't know the name of the Gatha. Namu Amida Butsu
76, Namu Amida Butsu.
on page
67.
67 in the Dharma School service book. And please remain standing for the three treasures on page 3 of the same book, followed by a Dharma message by Dennis Akizuki.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
We're very flexible here.
Thank you.
When life is fair and sunlight gilds the day, when fortune smiles and flowers adorn our way, oft let us pause with grateful hearts to say, Namu Amida Butsu. In who our way leads neath the darkened sky, and to our loved ones pain and death draw nigh, our tears may flow, yet trustingly we cry, Namu Amida Butsu. Will you please now join in the reading of the three treasures on page 3 in the Dharma School service book. Hard is it to be born into human life. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the teachings of the Blessed One. Now we hear it. If we do not deliver ourselves in the present life, no hope is there that we shall be freed from suffering and sorrow in the ocean of birth and death. Let us reverently take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in Buddha. May we all together absorb into ourselves the principle of your way to enlightenment and awaken in ourselves our supreme will. I take refuge in Dharma. May we all together be submerged in the depth of the doctrine and gain wisdom as deep as the ocean. I take refuge in Sangha. May we all together become units in true accord in your life of harmony, in a spirit of universal oneness, freed from the bondage of selfishness. Even through ages of myriads of kalpas, hard is it to hear such an excellent, profound, and wonderful doctrine. Now we are able to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of Tathagata's teaching. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Good morning. Please join me in Kansho in reciting the Butsu. In reflecting on the ocean of great Shinjin, I realize that there is no discrimination between the noble and humble, or black-robed monks or white-clothed laity, no differentiation between man and woman, old and young. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Welcome to everyone here in person, watching live streaming, or if you watch it later. We're glad that you could join us. So you may have heard about Shinran's writing, something called the Kyogyo Shinsho. That's Kyogyo which translated into English is the true teaching, practice, and realization of the Pure Land Way, which is certainly a mouthful, but basically it is, Shinran wrote a lot of things, but this is kind of like at the peak of what he wrote, the most important of his writings. It's basically contains the foundation of Jodo Shinshu based on his study of sutras and great teachers that came before him. 7 of those teachers are shown on the painting at the far left. It's really kind of the religious foundation for us. He wrote it about 800 years ago. The passage I wrote is important because it relates to something we talk about frequently. That is accepting people as they are, welcoming everybody. So let me read it again. In reflecting on the ocean of great Shinjin, I realized that there is no discrimination between the noble and humble, or black-robed monks and white-clothed laity, no differentiation between man and woman, old and young. So before I go on, some of you may have gotten caught up and stopped at ocean of great Shinjin. Okay, so I'm not sure I'm going to explain this very well, but I'll do the best I can on this because it's kind of deep. So Shinjin is Shinjin. So it's been translated in older times as faith, but more accurately, I think, lately as true and trusting. So that entrusting is in Amida Buddha's assurance that the difficulties of our lives will be resolved and we will reach enlightenment. That entrusting, Shinran wrote later in the same passage, quote, is like the medicine that eradicates all poisons. So Shinjin, true and trusting, is the medicine that eradicates all poisons. So this passage is located on page 107, the collected works of Shinran, 2 volumes, which contains the Kyogyo Shinsho and more of his writings and other writings, in fact. They're 2 volumes, 1,000 pages, translated and published in 1997 by the Jodo Shinju Honganji-ha, which is our sect of Buddhism. You could actually order this on Amazon or through the BCA, or you could come here to the temple and you could buy it here, or you could actually find it online. I think it's for free at shinranworks.com. Shinran, Shinran, works, WORKS.com. So, but if you prefer to read it like in your hand rather than on the screen, you can get it here at the temple. But I don't want to give you the impression that, I kind of read this all the time, because I don't. In fact, I barely cracked it open before I wrote this. True confessions. As I kind of look around the internet and look at topics as I prepare talks, and I came across an article by the late Jodo Shinshu scholar Dr. Alfred Bloom. And his article that I found was titled Shinran's Non-Discriminating Universal Faith. And that this article appears in the online Shin Dharma net, which is part of the Buddhist Study Center in the Hompa Honganji Mission of Hawaii. The Hompa Honganji Mission of Hawaii is the Hawaii equivalent of BCA. And by the way, Dr. Bloom was a founder of the Buddhist Study Center. So the passage was the first paragraph of the article, and I kind of looked at it and I said, wow, this kind of connects what we talk about, right? Accepting everybody as they are, right? Welcoming everybody. In the same article, Dr. Bloom went on to expand on what this means. He said, quote, Shinran is telling us that Amida Buddha embraces all beings or relationships. And through true and trusting, there is equal access to Amida's compassion and wisdom, no matter what the position, label, designation, or definition we bear in society. We might add here, in our modern times, nationality, ethnic identity, race, skin color, or gender orientation, gay, straight, bisexual, or transgendered. Distinctions that Shinran had no knowledge of. So, unfortunately, it should be kind of clear, right? Embraces everybody. But unfortunately, in our times, when people's behavior and discrimination, that unfortunately we have to kind of like be very specific what that means. And I think Shinran obviously he didn't know of any of these words, straight, bisexual, transgendered. But I think his teachings are clear. That's everybody. It doesn't matter your distinction or your label. So Shinran's teachings emphasize Amida Buddha embraces everyone. So I think it follows that we should embrace everyone, right? We should treat everyone equally and accept them as they are. We hear those words and we say, yeah, that makes sense, but that's difficult sometimes in our lives, right? Where we kind of have our biases and our own prejudices, and it kind of affects the way we deal with people. So I think we need to kind of admit that we inevitably fail, sometimes a lot, sometimes a little, to live up to those teachings, right? We may act with the best of intentions, but we sometimes hesitate and we may fall short of what Shinran taught. But I think the point is, I think we can learn and do better, learn from our experiences and reflect upon them and say, okay, maybe I should have said this to this person, or done something else than the interaction that happened with with a person. I think the acceptance Shinran was articulating in his writings isn't simply accepting them, as I said. I think we need to welcome people. We need to welcome people in our lives and welcome new people that come into the temple and that we meet here. The Midwest Buddhist Temple in Chicago has a welcome page that says, quote, "There is no exclusivity in Jodo Shinshu. This radical equality is an extremely important message, welcoming all those who want to hear the Buddha Dharma and experience the teachings of non-discrimination of our founder, Shinran Shonin. It is a teaching available to all. Amida Buddha is said to have the wisdom of non-discrimination. This is manifested in the great compassion that embraces all beings." And this is, of course, as I said, not easy. And the Buddhist Churches of America website acknowledged that welcoming always is not easy. It says, quote, "Although it is difficult for us as unenlightened beings to manifest this wisdom of non-discrimination, this radical equality is an ideal in our tradition. Although it is difficult for us as foolish beings to manifest the all-embracing compassion, this kindness and caring is our model to strive for. BCA welcomes all seekers as we continue our mission to share the Buddhist teachings and embrace lives of gratitude and community with one another." So again, I think, it's a challenge for us sometimes to, and oftentimes maybe, to accept people as they are, to welcome people. And I think we kind of have to remember teachings of Buddha, teachings of Shinran, and we need to try to live up to those teachings. We must not just say that all are welcome here. We must mean it. We must show it. We must live it. So please join me in Gassho and reciting the Nambutsu. In reflecting on the ocean of great Shinjin, I realized that there is no discrimination between the noble and humble, or black-robed monks or white-clothed laity. No differentiation between man and woman, old and young. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for that valuable message. We all need to remember that in our tradition, we do accept everybody all the time. Thank you. Now, can you please stand for Gatha Ondokusan II on page 220 in the large service book and page 76 in the Dharma School service book.
Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Namu Amida Butsu. Thank you. Please be seated.
Are there any announcements? So I'd like to thank the ministers, Rinban Sakamoto, Reverend Mikame, Michael Jones, Sumi Tanabe, and Dennis Akizuki. I also like to thank our organist, Elaine Jones, and our tech person, Kevin Kitagawa. And I thank all of you for attending, and you may come up and do a shoko right now. So this ends the service. Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.
It's so odd, you know. It's when you get out of sync, you're really out of sync. But everybody, I don't know. But it's so nice that everybody adapts. Everybody chips in and helps out.
Oh, let me put it up, stop. Did you bring my chair here?
Mine me too, so.
Good morning. Good to see you. Eva. Okay, good to see you. Well, stay dry.